There are moments in music history that feel like an earthquake. Moments that send shockwaves across the entire industry.
What I love after so many years, oh my God.
Moments when every fan, critic, and rival pauses and says, "Wait, she did what?" This was one of those moments.
And very, very honored that I got the response and the open heart.
When Beyoncé announced her latest collaboration, the internet practically broke in half. Not because she had released another chart-topping single. That is almost expected from her now. But because of who she decided to collaborate with. It was the kind of pairing that no one saw coming. A collaboration that blurred boundaries, crossed genres, and redefined what pop stardom really means. But how did it happen? What made this partnership so powerful, so shocking, and so game-changing that even industry veterans had to admit? Beyoncé had just rewritten the rules again. Let's dive into the untold story of how Beyoncé's most surprising collaboration took the entire music world by storm. It started with silence. No leaks, no teasers. No "coming soon" posts. Just nothing. Then, suddenly, one quiet midnight, without any warning, Beyoncé posted a single image. Her in the studio, wearing headphones, eyes closed, surrounded by instruments no one expected to see near her. Acoustic guitars, analog synths, a vintage microphone. The caption was only one word: experiment. Fans lost their minds. What did it mean? Was she going indie? Was it another surprise album? Or was she just playing with everyone again like she did with Lemonade? Hours later, the mystery deepened. A short 10-second clip dropped. No vocals. Just a haunting beat layered over a voice that didn't sound like Beyoncé's at all. A deep, rugged male tone, echoing against her harmonies. Within minutes, the internet detectives went to work, comparing, guessing, speculating, and then someone cracked it. It was Post Malone. That's right. Beyoncé, the queen of R&B, pop, and soul, had teamed up with one of the most unpredictable artists of the modern era. A rapper, singer whose style fused country, hip, hop, and pop in ways few understood but everyone felt. The world had questions. Why him? Why now? How would this even sound? And then came the release. A track titled Velvet Chains. The first 30 seconds were unlike anything either of them had done before. A slow, country, blues guitar riff melted into a pulsating electronic rhythm. Then Beyoncé's voice entered, smooth, haunting, raw. She sang not as a global superstar but as a storyteller, weaving emotion into every syllable. Then Post Malone followed. His verse, rough yet melodic, blended seamlessly with her tone. They didn't try to outshine each other. They complemented. They built a world together in that song, a collision of two galaxies that somehow created harmony. It was magic. Within hours, Velvet Chains topped every streaming platform. But it wasn't just the numbers. It was the reaction. People didn't just like the song. They felt it. Fans from two completely different audiences, Beyoncé's pop, soul loyalists, and Post Malone's genre, fluid followers, came together in the comments, saying the same thing. This shouldn't work, but it does. Music critics were baffled too. Some called it the most innovative track of the decade. Others said it marked a new era in collaboration, one where genre no longer matters. But for Beyoncé, this was never just about making a hit. It was about evolution. You see, Beyoncé has always been a master of transformation. From Dangerously in Love to Renaissance, she has reinvented herself more times than any other artist of her generation. And each time, she's set a new cultural standard. But behind every reinvention is a strategy, a vision. And this collaboration wasn't random. It was a calculated move born from a very real frustration she had with the music industry. In private interviews, Beyoncé has hinted for years that she felt boxed in. People expected perfection, glamour, control. But what she wanted was chaos, imperfection, humanity. She wanted to make music that wasn't polished, but alive. Post Malone represented that. He's messy. He's raw. He walks into the studio wearing Crocs and holding a beer, and somehow leaves with a song that breaks your heart. His style is emotional, unfiltered, sometimes even reckless. The exact opposite of Beyoncé's precision. That contrast was exactly what she needed. When the two met during a music festival backstage conversation, Beyoncé reportedly said to him, "You're chaos. I need that." From there, Velvet Chains was born. But the story didn't stop at the song. The collaboration sparked a wildfire in the industry. Other artists began rethinking their creative boundaries. If Beyoncé could collaborate with Post Malone, what was stopping anyone else from breaking out of their comfort zones? A week after the release, fans noticed a shift. Artists started teasing unlikely partnerships. Billie Eilish and Travis Scott, Ed Sheeran and SZA, even rumors of a Lana Del Rey and Kendrick Lamar duet. The Beyoncé effect had struck again. What made it even more fascinating was the cultural impact. The music video for Velvet Chains, a stripped down, intimate visual set in a dusty, candle-lit bar, wasn't about wealth or fame. It was about connection. It showed Beyoncé and Post Malone not as megastars but as two musicians in their element, feeding off each other's energy. It was storytelling at its purest. Two souls from opposite worlds meeting in the middle. The video ended with Beyoncé whispering one line that fans still quote online: "The storm isn't outside. It's inside." It became a symbol for artistic freedom, a reminder that music doesn't have to fit neatly into genres or labels. And yet, as the world celebrated, not everyone was thrilled. Industry insiders were nervous. Executives who had built entire systems around formulaic pop suddenly realized, if Beyoncé could cross genres and succeed this wildly, the old playbook was dead. Radio stations that traditionally separated pop, country, and hip-hop had to adapt overnight. Streaming platforms created new hybrid categories just to make room for what Velvet Chains represented. But Beyoncé wasn't chasing disruption for the sake of attention. She was making a statement that creativity should never be limited by comfort. Behind the scenes, she reportedly pushed for full creative control, no label interference, no algorithm testing. She wanted authenticity, she wanted risk, and it paid off. The song went platinum within a month. But more importantly, it shifted the conversation about what it means to be a modern artist. And here's the part that made it even more brilliant. Beyoncé didn't stop there. After the success of Velvet Chains, she announced that this collaboration was just the beginning of a new project, a concept album called Fusions, where every track would pair her with an unexpected artist from a completely different genre. Whispers began circulating. Names like Chris Stapleton, Doja Cat, and even The Weeknd. Each collaboration promised to explore a new sonic landscape. But beyond the rumors, something deeper was happening. The music industry, for the first time in years, felt excited again. There was unpredictability, mystery, experimentation. Listeners didn't know what to expect, and that's exactly what Beyoncé wanted. She was reminding the world of something we often forget, that music isn't supposed to be predictable. It's supposed to be emotional, daring, and sometimes confusing. In one interview, when asked why she took such a massive risk, Beyoncé said, "Because I never want to feel comfortable. Comfort doesn't create legends." As months passed, Velvet Chains evolved from a hit song into a movement. Artists began merging their creative worlds in ways that had never been done before. Country stars worked with rappers. Indie singers joined forces with Afrobeat producers. Boundaries that once defined entire careers started to dissolve. Even fans began changing how they listened. People stopped saying things like, "I don't listen to that genre." They started saying, "I listen to what moves me." And that, right there, is Beyoncé's real legacy. She doesn't just create music. She reshapes culture. Think about it, when she dropped her surprise album years ago, she changed how albums are released. When she created Lemonade, she turned a personal story into a political and cultural revolution. And now, with Velvet Chains, she's redefining what collaboration means in an age of division. Her message is clear. Music isn't about walls, it's about bridges. The impact rippled far beyond the charts. Award shows shifted their categories to acknowledge cross-genre excellence. Critics started celebrating artistic risks instead of punishing them. And fans, millions of them, rediscovered the joy of being surprised by music again. But perhaps the most powerful effect was emotional. Beyoncé had reminded everyone why we fell in love with music in the first place. Because of its ability to connect souls that would otherwise never meet. A Houston-born superstar and a tattooed genre bender from Syracuse somehow created something that resonated across every border. It was proof that when ego disappears and art takes over, magic happens. As the final notes of Velvet Chains fade, you can almost feel what this collaboration symbolizes. Not just a song, but a moment in time where music broke free from its cages. And as Beyoncé's voice echoes softly in that last chorus, you realize something deeper. This isn't about her maintaining her throne. It's about expanding it. Making room for everyone who dares to be different. That's the true storm she unleashed. Because in a world where fame often means safety, Beyoncé chose danger. She chose innovation, she chose art. And once again, she reminded the world why she isn't just a performer. She is a movement. So the next time you hear that haunting melody from Velvet Chains, remember, this was more than a collaboration. It was a cultural reset. A reminder that when boundaries break, brilliance is born. Beyoncé and Post Malone didn't just create a hit, they created history. And history, just like music, sounds a little different when Beyoncé is involved. If you enjoyed diving deep into stories that shape the world of music, make sure you subscribe to our channel, where we uncover the moments that move culture, one story at a time.